in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Yes, master audio engineer that I am, Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us today on the Mark Hoke Show. It is the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Happy to have you joining us here on KDAWN, 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, the Odyssey app. If you don't have the Odyssey app, well, you know what? Your kids are going to look at you and just feel shame. So go get it right now, AUDACY. And we are also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X, and we'd encourage you to join us there and get in on all the fun here on the Mark Hoke Show. Got my usual riding mates with me. Let's first introduce from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling in Austin, Texas, Stu Myrick. What's up?
Just watching one of my favorites, Cynthia Freeland on NFL Network. She projects 240 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 90 and 32 rushing yards for Patrick Mahomes tonight against your stinking Eagles.
Wow. Well, you know what, Stu, you can say what you want, but my stinking Eagles are in the Super Bowl. And your smelly,
I agree.
Your smelly, disgusting, horrendous Cowboys are not.
Look, and look, I am a long-suffering Cowboys devotee, but I have accepted long ago the fact that Jerry Jones isn't going back to the Super Bowl.
You finally
not with this coaching move.
You finally figured it out. I'm very impressed.
I figured that out years ago.
Yeah,
I figured that out when I was covering them.
Yeah, understandable. Well, because somebody decided they wanted to put a very special background up today, I wanted to introduce him with some special music. Well, let's get him in here. He is the president of wrestling. Phil Stamper is in the house.
Really?
All right. It was never meant to be a pastiche of that guy. But I do want to say, all the talk of a big game today, and I'm confused because WrestleMania is not for another 2 months.
I know, exactly.
Man, really?
I mean, let's face it.
You non-football people, it just irks me.
Let's be clear. I am a football person, but if there were 2 teams that people cared about, then maybe I'd be interested.
I care about the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes
he's from Texas.
Beautiful Northeast Texas, White House to be exact.
Gosh, it's just another country there. I swear to God.
And then not 1 but 2 lifetime Longhorns.
It's a
CON Charles Minihue and Xavier Worthy.
Conspiracy.
Eagles by 92. Anyway, by the way, Coach Rosie's in the chat box. He's actually at the Super Bowl nice. Doing stuff down in press row. So good for him. So he just said hi in the chat box. So there's Coach Rosie coming live from New Orleans.
My first Super Bowl in radio was in New Orleans, 47. Ravens Niners. That was fun. It was a great week.
I had a great night that night. I'm just gonna leave it there. I had a great night that night. That was a fun Super Bowl evening.
Yeah.
But well, we gotta talk a little pro wrestling too. But we'll get to the Super Bowl, guys. We'll fire it off a little bit later on, I promise. But we need to get to a lot of news. And actually, well, before I do, Phil, I didn't get your chance to get your take on the Royal Rumble because we missed you last week. Your thoughts on the winners and what happened?
Oh, I feel like I did not call anywhere close to what they did in the men's Rumble. Was not shocked by any of the surprises. I hate to say it, I already heard the words and whispers of who might appear, and I was at the convention in Indianapolis, the WrestleCon in Indianapolis, and a friend had gone over to say hi to Joe Hendry, and Hendry sort of outed himself in the conversation about being in the Rumble, and it was like instantaneous, like, what you just said, right? He's like, I didn't say that. But all good. I like the women's Rumble. I overall, I did expect a few more maybe surprise people inside the Rumbles. I thought the ladder match delivered. There was actually, there was a couple moments of comedy in it that I wasn't expecting. But overall, I thought it was a I'd give it a B. If I had to give it a grade, I'd give it a B, and that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all.
We didn't talk about last week. I love the crawl at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's probably one of the best things that has happened in Royal Rumble broadcast. And they need to do that every year. That was fantastic, and kudos to WWE and Triple H for doing that. That was really cool.
There were a lot of people complaining about that, by the way. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Are they? What?
You know,
in the world? I don't get it.
It's
Tells you who how many eliminations, who's up next, who's still in. I mean, that was fantastic.
Yeah,
because you can't. It's not like you can tell from entrance music, because the entrance music, for several of them sucks.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that complaint is coming up a lot in the WWE.
Yeah, I am too, and that was something briefly mentioned last week. But yeah, the entrance music, it's not really distinct for everybody.
No,
but Jim Johnston said he's not coming back. So, oh well.
I was going to say,
Rebel it is.
I mean, let him enjoy retirement.
I will say too, from a visual standpoint, I don't think there's enough distinction in some of the gear of some of the women. It looks very, very similarly constructed. And so because of the visual similarities, it was sort of at times a little hard to distinguish, like, who is that and who is that and who is this? And then, like, of course, they would turn, you'd see their face and be like, oh, got it. But it's like, why am I not getting that recognition that I would with like a male competitor? And it's like, oh, because their gear is so similar.
Are you going to walk in that locker room and tell them that they all have to color coordinate their outfits and you can't wear this and you can't wear that and you can't wear that? Are you going to be the one to do that, Phil Stamper?
Well, one, I am not in that role to do that. Two, but if I am on television, and the WWE is a huge entertainment entity, then yes. Like this is not a critique of any of the talent at all, but they're on a TV show. It would sort of be, could you imagine if a cast of a show, like even if it was a comedy, all came out in like the same identical colored shirt, like unless it was a part of a bit on the show, they don't do that.
Right.
And so, I just think there needs to be a little bit of differentiation. And I hope as I'm saying this, that's to benefit the talent. So they do stand out more and they do stand out to look and be more unique. And there are talent that do have different things. I'm not saying they all do, but I noticed more overall in the Women's Rumble that there was like a too much visual sameness, if that makes some sense.
Well, good luck with that then in the next Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. That should be interesting. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I did. Anyway.
Actually, they might have a better opportunity because then it's
they'll have leggings and sleeves and yeah. Maybe they'll wear
a little more distinct, but yeah,
I grimaced as I said that, by the way.
I see what you're saying, Phil. It feels like everybody was using the same, gear maker, and it was more of a template, with subtle, color differences, but it was kind of the same. And so, yeah, I think I'm there with you.
We need to get Tiffany Stratton in there. She stands out.
Years and years ago, this is back in 2008, Project Runway was on the air, and they had a WWE episode where they brought in, at the time, they were called the Divas, so the WWE Divas came in, and part of it was not only just look and appearance, but if it matched their personality of who they were on screen. And I want to say it was Jillian had the best designed gear, yet they gave her gear that wasn't anything for her gimmick at all. And she won because it was the best looking and designed gear, which was great. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, this feels a lot like how that gear was made in 2008 too, with a little bit more sparkle and rhinestone on it, but still like very, very similar.
Well, fair enough. We'll have to tell them to work on that for next year. The ladies like what they like. You know that, Phil.
Yeah.
But
they're not.
I get your point. I'm just making fun of it a little bit, but
right.
but you're definitely right. I'm not saying you're wrong. So, but speaking of some of the ladies and a few other people. Oh man, the guillotine fell, fellas. Oh my goodness. couple of months before WrestleMania, and we have lost some people from WWE. Here's the list, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts here, guys. Sonya Deville, Ackerman Razor, the AOP, Paul Ellering, Blair Davenport, Cedric Alexander, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson, the Good Brothers, Isla Dawn, and Giovanni Vinci. Surprises there. Stu, what shocks you the most about that list?
I think maybe Blair Davenport, because there was talk around the campfire that, you know, she may get pushed into some sort of storyline or something. So that one surprises me a little. Look, I am all for people getting paid to, you know, honoring the contract, let them do their thing. Now, let's see, who is it? Sonya Deville, her contract is expiring. She's just not being renewed.
Right.
So she is eligible to go anywhere, like, I guess, immediately. I think everybody else has got the 90-day non-compete. Good Brothers doesn't shock me too much. They haven't been in a while, and Carl Anderson is still rehabbing an injury, so that one doesn't shock me much. Giovanni Vinci, they tried. It wasn't taking.
I will say this: it doesn't help when you deck him in 20 seconds and stuff like that a couple of times.
Yeah,
it really hurt him.
Isla Dawn is a little bit of a surprise. I think she and Alba Fire had a good tag team that could have been. I think they could have been utilized a little bit better. Interesting that they cut Isla Dawn, but they didn't cut Alba Fire or Kaylee Ray or whatever. So there was that. So yeah. I mean, I think Blair Davenport's probably the biggest surprise, but you got to imagine all of them will find work somewhere. I wonder if the Good Brothers will go back to TNA. We'll see.
Phil, what do you think of the cut list?
The biggest surprise I had was Sonya Deville. She's in a group that's very visible, and so I was just surprised to see that. Everyone else, I felt like they had been turned down over the last few months, so I felt like, okay, it is the weirdest one to me is Carl Anderson because he's hurt, and that's not a typical move by the WWE to fire somebody when they're injured. Not that they've never done it before; it's just a little bit odd. But I like them. I think, yeah, they're probably back up in TNA or anywhere. What did they call it when they had their own pay-per-view that they ran Shop and Talkamania?
Oh gosh, I can't remember either.
I had them on for that.
Was it Talking Shop or Shop and something like? But anyway,
that's their Talking Shop is their podcast.
We'll have to look that up on the break. I can't remember,
but I loved it. So I, in a whole selfish way, I hope they bring that back.
Yeah,
and by the way, bring me down for it because I would love to be a part of it. Yeah. So I was surprised. I'm surprised that they're also doing this before Mania because this is, again, if you're looking at the sort of typical way WWE has done some stuff, they typically do this after Mania. But they had already released some people back in January. A couple there was somebody from NXT, and I feel bad I can't remember his name because it wasn't announced, but now he's making videos of like him talking to himself about being tired.
Duke Hudson.
Thank you.
From Chase U.
So I do feel like some of this was already planned out, that like the WWE knew what they were doing, and there is so much that they have been developing because they do have the WWE ID folks that they're paying, and now they're being moved up to the Evolve show. There is the new show with the Dudleys and Mickey James training new talent on AMC that's coming. That'll, where you put then these talent, even if they just select one that gets a winner contract. I don't know how that's working. I don't know if it's exactly like Tough Enough or not. But what are they doing with them? Is it just cleaning out, where they had a whole bunch, and this is the one criticism we've had sometimes on this show about AEW is just that roster is so big. So WWE is, we're making it tight. At the same time, we are making open spaces for maybe some more people to rise up.
Yeah, I was surprised about Sonya Deville too, considering they've been pushing that the pure Fusion Collective faction. But one I think they're going to regret is Isla Dawn. She is very good, experienced talent, and she's got a great look. She's fantastic in the ring. That was I think the one to me that really caught me off guard. And she just stands out a little bit from the rest of the roster, just when you see her. So I don't know. I was wondering about that one, but some of the other ones I get, but I know Cross was not too thrilled about losing AOP.
Yeah.
But and they really started a lot of discussion about how good they are that I was seeing on social media, because I didn't realize people were so torn about those guys. That there's just people that think they're trash, and there's people that think they're fantastic.
Yeah.
So that one was interesting when I watched that unfold.
I'll be interested to see what happens to Cedric Alexander. I know the push is there to reunite him with Shelton and Lashley and the guys in the Hurt Syndicate and AEW. We'll see if that happens. Not to mention he's got Ring of Honor experience, so maybe he could bring that back up if Tony decides to sign him. That one's an interesting. Precious Paul, enjoy retirement. He's
71, 72.
Yeah, he's up there. His lovely daughter Rachel, I think she's going to be in town. AEW's here on Tuesday, so I know she was in Houston. Or not Rosenberg. I think she's going to be in town on Tuesday. So,
and Paul Ellering is 71, and it is Talking Shop-A-Mania.
There it is. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, and we had Chris Chaos in the chat box was saying that was funny, the Good Brothers show. So
yeah,
there you go. Phil, there are people on your page. It's stunning, but they are
even more.
I love Talking Shop-A-Mania and Talking Shop-A-Mania too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we mentioned where the Good Brothers could land, maybe TNA. They could go back to New Japan too. The number 2 company of the world. I think they're going to land on their feet wherever they go.
Yeah, they're going to be all right. But I have a feeling, Stu, when you bring up about Cedric Alexander, that I was going to go into that. But yeah, I think that move would seem like a no-brainer to me to bring him back in, and I'm sure the guys would love to have him back. I was really surprised when I think it was last year he re-signed. And I was kind of shocked that he did, knowing that the other guys were probably headed to AEW. That one caught me off guard, but I hope he does well, because I love Cedric and I think he's an incredible talent. And having the band back together, I don't think it's going to hurt. I don't think it'll hurt at all.
Hey, now that they've finally shown the trios titles again, why not?
Yeah,
have a trio.
That'd be fun. Well, maybe Cedric could be the world champion. We'll just let him win a belt. Good one for once.
Trios.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Cedric could be world champion, but let's give him the trios titles.
All right. Well, let's take a break here as I see how more unprepared I accidentally was for the show by getting on the right station's information, and let's fire the music up. And when we come back, we had a little follow-up from the Royal Rumble, boys. And what everybody thought wasn't going to happen happened on that Monday Night Raw after the Rumble. We're going to talk about that and start digging into WrestleMania weekend and taking a look at what's going on in Vegas. And there's some crazy stuff happening here, guys. As we go through the show, we're going to get to it. We'll be right back.
Nevada SPCA is the community shelter, funded by the community for the community. I'm Executive Director Lori Herron. We are the original no-kill animal shelter in Southern Nevada, and our community support program provides food and veterinary assistance to pet owners in need to keep pets where they belong, with the owners who love them. If you need help, go to nevadaspca.org under Pet Assistance. Donate today at nevadaspca.org.
Find happiness, Nevada SPCA.
Dear Winter, Toyota has 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. From winter-ready SUVs like Grand Highlander and RAV4 to sleek sedans like the Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, and the Svelte Crown. Not to mention rugged trucks such as Tacoma and Tundra. We're ready for winter action with solid traction. Yours, Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturers' websites as of 10/20/24.
Visit your Southern Nevada Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. When it comes to protecting my family's future, I want a life insurance company that's at the top of their game. That's why I got same-day coverage through Ethos. There was no paperwork, no waiting around, and no medical exam. I just answered a few health questions online, and Ethos set me up with a $3 million policy for about $2 a day. Go to checkethos.com and get it done today. That's CHECKETHOS.com. Checkethos.com. Sample rates as a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Right now at Wendy's, get 2 of these fave items for just $7. The spicier classic chicken sandwich, Dave's single, or 10-piece nugs. It's an incredible deal, but an insanely difficult choice. Do you go double chicky sando, both spicy and classic, 1 beefy and 1 chicky? Or maybe you go all in on one and go Nug Max. 2 faves for just $7? Gotta be Wendy's.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time only. Select a request 2 for $7 deal to redeem. Not valid in a combo or with saucy nugs. Single item at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
1015 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's get back to it. The best in pro wrestling news and entertainment here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, streaming on that amazing Odyssey app, AUDACY, and we are also live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And guess who's here, guys? Scoop, Mark, Stu, Phil.
Scoop.
Ready?
What's up, Scoop?
All right, good to see Scoop, one of the great pro wrestling photographers out there. So, hi, Scoop. What's going on, my friend? All right. Royal Rumble wraps up. We go to Raw, and of course, everybody's excited to see what's going to happen in Cleveland. And Charlotte Flair, well, Jey Uso comes out first. And of course, so many people in the IWC are like, oh, Jey Uso. Nobody cares about Jey Uso. And the building erupts. Absolutely erupts for Jey Uso. Then later on, Charlotte Flair comes out after 14 months of being away and wins the Royal Rumble. And, a nice redemption story for Charlotte after all that time out. Tries to tell everybody how thankful she was for their support, and Cleveland boos her out of the building. Phil,
yeah,
are you surprised at either of those?
I was honestly a little bit surprised at the response that Jey Uso got, but it's so unexpected, and I think that's part of it too. Where Charlotte was so expected, like even before she was officially announced to be a part of the Rumble, when it was just rumored that she might be coming back, I'm like, oh, Charlotte's winning. So I felt like I knew that, and again, nobody's telling me these things, but it's just like, as I watch the product, I'm like, oh, I see the map that's happening here. So I think that's a little bit why the predictability, I think, through is making some of the responses that you're hearing. Good on Jay for, gathering that crowd and getting that crowd behind him.
Yeah, it was a very emotional speech from Jay. You could barely get the words out. Stu, were you surprised at either of these receptions?
Look, the internet wrestling community, for all their pluses, They can be so stupid sometimes. That anyone would be against Jey Uso winning the Rumble is beyond me. And especially after what you saw Monday night. That was, I mean, that place was rocking when he came down. I mean, they called for an encore, and then they did the same thing Friday night on SmackDown. If you can't tell Jey Uso is mega over, then you got a problem. Now, Charlotte Flair, yeah, it's kind of like what Phil said. Look, as soon as she was announced, it was like, oh, yeah, she's going to win. It was interesting that they chose to go try to go the route of trying to, talk about her, coming back from the bad injury and rehabbing and all that. A very babyface move.
Which she flipped in about 30 seconds.
Well, she did.
She had to.
I mean, it was kind of one of those things where the response to her didn't surprise me.
Right. And she's a heel.
Yes, she is a heel. I wonder how much of that was just booing a heel, how much of it was, good God, we got Charlotte Flair again in the main event at WrestleMania.
And that's what I'm wondering about is there, even though she was gone for so long, is there Charlotte Flair fatigue? Did they just burn her, all the championship reigns and everything else that she had? She's been champ, 12 times, and she
14.
hasn't 14, excuse me. Yeah. And she hasn't been there that long. And, they just booked her with all these short reigns and so many main events.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if part of it are people tired of Charlotte Flair, which is unbelievable considering I think she's the best women's wrestler in the world.
I think there might be a little bit of that. It's what they used to feel about Roman Reigns getting shoved down their throats.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, and look, that is a constant among the IWC. If a wrestler's going to be shoved down our throats, we're going to react in a negative way. That's just going to happen. It happened to Roman Reigns, and I think to an extent it's happening with Charlotte Flair. And you're right, Charlotte Flair is one of the best female wrestlers. Forget female, one of the best wrestlers out there. But fans are I think the fans are, I would say, a little tired of her.
Phil, how do you fix it?
I mean, lean into it. I mean, they hate you, then be hated. That's honestly what made Roman Reigns successful. There wasn't this I'm going to lean into it and be heel until the moment I think it's cool to do something for the crowd. This is the weird analogy just came into my brain. BMJF, be the hateful, spiteful, whatever. And just take that response, own it, live it, just be that person, and I think you're going to be fine. Let them hate you.
How long do you think it takes before people get back into seeing Charlotte Flair in the ring? For Roman, it took a little step away and comes back with the veneers and the cocky attitude. And, Charlotte, I think that's a fair comparison, that Charlotte's somewhat in the same position. So how long does it take to fix this? And to what extent is she going to have to go? Because we've seen her do some bad things in the ring already. So how do you accentuate that to get people to go, oh yeah, I forgot. I really do like Charlotte, even when she's bad.
I think
See, it's a tough question.
I was going to make this weird thing, but then it's going to sound weird. Ric Flair was known as the dirtiest player in the game. That's what everybody called. That's what they would call him on commentary. And I was like, yeah, he'd thumb you in the eye. Maybe every, now and again. I mean, he would cheat here, but I felt like it was scattered. It was spaced. Charlotte is bad because she's so good. That's almost the tenor you're getting with how she presents. Does she need to be dastardly as well? Does she need to be more effective at being underhanded and taking the easy route road and cheating and thumbing somebody in the eye, making more of a show of the cheating to win, to like do what it takes to win. Maybe not cheating to win, doing what it takes to win.
I think that I think that's the road now. Today's wrestling fan or today's wrestling, they don't look, the heels are supposed to be they're supposed to be dastardly. They're supposed to cheat. They're supposed to, low blow or thumb in the eye or whatever. That's what we were all, that's what we were brought up on. Heels nowadays aren't, I think they still got to learn that. And I think Charlotte could maybe take a page out of her daddy's notebook and maybe start doing a little bit of, she doesn't have to be the best wrestler. She just got to win the title, and by any means necessary. MJF does it. It's, you're starting to see the New Day doing that now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay to have a heel that cheats because that's what the story calls for.
Right.
I think one thing that's very interesting about that too is that her moveset is very babyface. Now it's a lot of athleticism and a lot of the moonsaults and everything else. It's not a heel moveset to do. And maybe this would be a good time to maybe call Dad and say, what do you think I should add into the repertoire a little bit to make people hate me more in the ring? Because it's hard to hate somebody when you're watching them and they're just such a great athlete. It's like, people used to quote unquote hate Michael Jordan, but they just hated that the Bulls won, but they didn't hate Michael. I mean, because you watch the guy and you're like, this is the greatest basketball player of all time, and I think Charlotte's kind of in that spot too. So it would be interesting to see her really change what she does in the ring so that she's actually a heel as opposed to a heel that's doing babyface moves. Make sense?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. We've gotten so far away, never mind the heel and babyface dynamic, which seems to get watered down year by year. We've gotten so far away from what made that dynamic so good to where you're watching a match. You don't care who it's in, who the participants are. You just want the 5-star Tokyo Dome match. Whereas the match has got to push the story, whatever story it is. We've gotten so far. Look, wrestling and in its fundamental, in its foundation, it's good versus evil. Just like Star Wars, just like Harry Potter, just like name your favorite, movie classic. It's good versus evil. The good guys do good, the evil guys do evil, and you root for the good guys. That doesn't happen now. I mean, you look at the Hurt Syndicate in AEW. They came in as heels. There's no way on. They are more over than most of the baby faces there. That's what, so you get. I think there's got to be a concerted effort to get back to that basic good versus evil, and if you don't, it's just going to get watered down.
Yeah, it's a very difficult position in pro wrestling now because a lot of the heels people. I think when it comes down to it, and kind of digging into human character a little bit is, while we all want to be nice people, and we all want to go out and do good every day, there is such a part of us that wants to act like MJF and just tell somebody to jump in a lake and poke him in the eye and kick him in the huevos rancheros and leave him lying on the ground. When it's just part of human nature, I think. And when we see somebody that's can do that, there's a matter of respect, I think, to say, that guy doesn't give a damn. And man, I wish I could tell my boss off, or I could, when I'm in a bad relationship, I could tell the girlfriend to just, you're terrible, go away. And and throw her out of the ring and kick her to the curb. You know what I mean? It's just, there's just this cool factor now that, went back to Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it just hasn't changed yet. And I don't know if there's an easy fix to change that, Phil.
Other than doing it. Like, that's the thing. Like, and holding people accountable to do it, especially on a televised product. Hey, you need to do this way. And here's the reason. And I won't say what event. I was part of an event very recently where things had not been very organized and structured. And some people finally got to the promoter and was like, we have to provide structure. And here is why. And as we sat through with everybody, it's like, I know we don't typically do this. Let's run through the entire event together. And it made everybody go, oh my gosh, we see the bigger picture. We see what we're doing now. We see the path we're making, because you need that. So I look at it again. I look at the WWE very complimentary when it comes to a lot of their production and what they do and their sound and their visuals. Like, I think they run a tight ship in that regard. I feel like it's going to be very easy for them to go like, let's pull back on this a little bit and to do this. I think an AEW would struggle with that a little bit, just based on what I've seen, what you see of the product. It just takes that control, and somebody needs to say, hey, give this a really simple understanding. Like, not everybody who's watching not everybody's watching week to week to week to week. These nuanced, complex stories and intricacies, they don't understand. They understand you a bad guy, you a good guy or gal. We get it. So focus on those quick elements, and then as you're narrating, you can dive into the complexity. But, very simply on the surface, why do I like, why do I hate?
Yeah, and before we go to break, Stu, you do a ton of commentary too, and part of that's on the commentator's shoulders too, to really push that story and explain to people why this person's such a terrible person.
You're absolutely right, and that's, I mean, look, as commentators, yes, we got to help tell the story that's being told in the ring. At the end of the day, however, we've got to have something. If you got, say, Drew McIntyre starts doing, a babyface moveset, I'm going, okay, hold on. How am I supposed to call this? Because he's supposed to be the heel. He's supposed to be the dastardly guy. And never mind the fact, when I do this, I do it as a sport. I do it like I do with football or whatever. So I'm somewhat focused on what's happening in the ring. But yeah, I'm also going to try to convey whatever story it is that is supposed to be conveyed. So it is a collaboration between the commentators and the wrestlers in the ring as to how good that story is going to get told.
Yeah, well, there you go, Charlotte. The three of us have your back. We got you. We're going to give you a hand. Promise. We'll get you through it. Woo! Anyway, let's head to break, and when we come back, we're setting up Elimination Chamber too, so we can't forget about that. Oh, is it going to be You Can't See Me time? Sure sounds like it. And then coming up later, we've got some interesting news about what's happening in Las Vegas WrestleMania weekend, and Tony Storm and Ricochet stealing the show this week. God bless them. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. Big egos, greed, and sleazy schemes. Big and loud doesn't always mean right. And the conventional mold doesn't define success. Goodbye, false quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way. With integrity, experience, and authenticity, we're champions for the underdog. Life happens, and when you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
We've all got a thing. Yeah, even you. If you love fashion, car parts, trading cards, whatever you're into, it's on eBay. So go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
Empower. Nick bought a new guitar, a 62 American Classic Electric. Does he know how to play? No. But Nick's Empower investment account has performed well. He got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. This is a really good guitar solo.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
When it comes to protecting my family's future, I want a life insurance company that's at the top of their game. That's why I got same-day coverage through Ethos. There was no paperwork, no waiting around, and no medical exam. I just answered a few health questions online, and Ethos set me up with a $3 million policy for about $2 a day. Go to tryethos.com and get it done today. That's TRYETHOS.com. TRYETHOS.com. Sample rates is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
We've all got a thing. Yeah, even you. If you love fashion, car parts, trading cards, whatever you're into, it's on eBay. So go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
I hope nobody from Odyssey saw me mocking the ads that we have on our station right now. Nobody saw that, right, guys?
Don't know what you're talking about.
I was covered up. It's all good. I'm safe. But thanks for being with us on The Mark Hoke Show. Here on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. This is the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. I've got two in the best of the business right here. Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Phil Stamper from The Wrestling Revolver. He is the president of wrestling. I still can't believe that. It's
like it happens all the time.
It happens all the time. Stu, I'm going to vote for you.
For what?
President of wrestling.
No.
No?
No.
Oh, God. You want to be his vice president, don't you?
I do not want to run. I am not running for office.
All right. Fair enough.
I have worked 30 years in Texas state government. It is long enough to figure out I do not want to run for any office.
Understandable.
I'm in the weird position of I would really actually like to, but because of wrestling, I'm a little nervous too.
Oh, everybody be bringing up all your old videos of you being a bad boy, Phil Stamper.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this guy. Ah! It's like, it's pro wrestling. Come on. I don't know. I think you can pull it off, Phil. Maybe. I might vote for you. I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah. All right. Elimination Chamber is coming up here in a few weeks, by the way. We're getting ready for that. And kind of found out that whole thing with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns was to write Roman Reigns off, so he doesn't have to take a fall in that match. And so Roman is safe. We have a few people that have made it into those Elimination Chamber matches up in Toronto. And it is going to be, there it is. CM Punk is in there. John Cena is in. Drew McIntyre is in. We've got Liv Morgan. Alexa Bliss is going to be in this, so that should be fun. And let's see, who's the other one? Bianca Belair. So a lot of fun there. But for the men's side, it looks like it. Everybody is saying it's Cena's. He's taking this, and he will be taking on Cody Rhodes. Phil, you like that?
No. I think there's so much more you can do. You can use John Cena to help build somebody else. And when I say this, like it's hard to say because like Gunther is so high up right now, and he can ride that high. I think him versus Cena would actually continue to catapult Gunther. If done in that way. There probably is, there's money to be made with a Cena versus Cody. Totally get it. for the narrative direction of the WWE. I don't know if that's the right step at this point. Plus, then you've put so much behind Cody and all these other people who've been chasing him. Now to bring in John Cena in this very friendly rivalry just doesn't feel like it's the right move at the time. Unless on the way out the door you're going to turn Cena heel today. Like I doubt that. So, and Cody seems pretty satisfied not to be Homelander. So,
fair enough. Stu, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's too soon because this John Cena retirement tour is supposed to go through the entire year of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Why put the belt on him now? I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Feels like maybe a SummerSlam type of deal. Have him face whichever champion he decides to face. I don't see John Cena winning the Chamber. I'm a little surprised he's in it because it feels like a tougher match than the Royal Rumble, and the prospect of injury is higher in this match. So it surprises me a little bit that he'll be in this one. But no, I do not agree with put him in the world title picture for Mania. Have it. Let's tell a little more story with it, and like I said, maybe wait till SummerSlam.
Yeah, see, I would have, just from a storytelling standpoint, I would have preferred to see Cena go after Gunther, like Phil said, if you're gonna do it, because if John does win that match, then Gunther comes back and gets the title back. Everybody's cool. You don't hurt anybody's reputations or anything like that. I'm a little worried about Gunther right now because he's already beaten Jey Uso a few times. So if he loses to Uso, so you've just basically said that Gunther's weaker than what he was, and I hate to see that with the guy. He's a Superman, and I wish they'd keep booking him like that. So I don't know, man. I would like to see somebody else.
I couldn't disagree
in these
more.
Spots. Okay.
I couldn't disagree more because they say in football, any given Sunday, if we're to believe Jey Uso is a main eventer, why couldn't he beat Gunther? Why couldn't he have a good day? You can't make Gunther unbeatable. He's got to he's going to lose that title eventually. He has to. That's just the way it goes. So why not Jey Uso?
Fair enough. It would be really fun if Uso pulled a heel turn on Cody Rhodes and kind of revert back to the whole bloodline thing a little bit. I mean, there's just a lot of little things that are driving me nuts about how this is all working out. And I guess I got to give it another month. I need to chill out.
What are you smoking?
Well, it's legal here in Las Vegas.
Did you not see that reaction?
Yeah, I did.
Indianapolis.
Hey, maybe Cody turns.
And now
heel.
you want to turn him heel?
Let's turn Cody heel. Could do that too.
I have a weird narrative that's been building in my brain of something happens. Jay loses his opportunity because of X. So if it's that, it's does he lose it in a match? Does he give it to Roman Reigns? Does he, I feel like, does he turn to The Rock and like The Rock faces Jey Uso at Elimination Chamber and then gives it to The Rock? So The Rock and Cody have their thing. Like, I feel like there's some other pieces there that aren't all laid out for us yet to get us to what's going to happen at Mania.
Yeah.
I hope it's not The Rock. I really do.
I'm not saying I'm in favor of it. I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's
something. There's some detour coming. By the way, Buying Scoop in the chat box says Punk uses Heyman favor to win the Chamber. That'd be all right.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah. People would enjoy seeing Punk and Cody, I think. That could get a little nasty.
That one I can see.
All right. See, that's the fun thing about pro wrestling. It can do anything, anytime. And even bad ideas by me or anybody else can just get out there and we'll see what happens.
So heel.
Yeah! Do it!
Stop smoking.
Stick around, everybody. We've got another hour of this. believe it or not, on the Mark Hoke Show. I've got Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, Phil Stamper from the Wrestling Revolver, and by the way, does a great indie report too. And we're going to talk about what's coming up in Las Vegas. It's all getting full. The schedule's all getting filled up. So we'll see what Phil's got handy for us. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back for hour 2.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
The nights are cold, and your doggone furnace isn't keeping you warm. Time to call Fetchatech Heating and Plumbing. We're Las Vegas' best friend when it comes to furnace and plumbing repairs. We have appointments available right now. Call us for 10% off any repair. Furnace, hot water heater, plumbing, and more. Call to schedule at 702-509-2000 or Google Fetchatech, and we can give your furnace a new leash on life with a $49 tune-up, and we'll waive the fee with an approved repair. Call to schedule at 702-509-2000 or Google Fetchatech. We're doggone fast and we're doggone good. Our friendly expert techs will fix the problem right the first time. Remember, our special offer is 10% off any repair. Furnace, hot water heater, plumbing, and more. And just $49 for a furnace tune-up. That can be waived with an approved repair. Give us a call. We'll come running. Our number is 702-509-2000 or just Google Fetchatech. That's 702-509-2000 or Google Fetchatech.
You know, choosing the right real estate agent can make a huge difference in the money you make from a sale. Hey, Sean Hannity here, and you've heard me talk about how I'm an active investor, and as I travel across this great country, one thing I see time and time again, a wrong agent can cost you thousands of dollars. If I needed to sell a home in your area, no question, there's only one team I trust. I'm talking about the Brenkus team of Keller Williams Realty, the marketplace. The Brenkus team serves the entire Las Vegas area. The truth is most agents only sell a couple of homes a month, and they only invest a few $100s on marketing every year. Now, this is the team that has the tools, the experience, the marketing budget to get your home in front of most buyers today, and that means looking at your home. Now, you can get multiple offers and sell for the most money possible. Now, find them online at thebrenkusteam.com. That's BRENKUS team.com.
License number BS16186. Call for details.
COVID is going around this time of year, so protect what matters. You know, your weekends, your paycheck, your vacation plans, your job security, your time. Protect yourself so you can do all the things you want to do with all the people you want to do it with, instead of lying in bed with COVID. Talk to your doctor about a COVID-19 vaccine. This message funded by a grant from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Immunization, and Vaccines for Children program, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
College sports hold a mythic place in American culture, but sometimes the drama off the court overshadows the action on it.
The higher-ups are concerned about one thing, and that is avoiding scandal.
I'm Margot Gray. On the new podcast, Campus Files, we cover everything, including some of the biggest scandals in college sports. Listen to and follow Campus Files, an Odyssey original podcast, available now on the free Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
KMXP HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 1015 FM KDAWN.
More info. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. President Trump is ordering the Secret Service to provide every detail they have on his would-be assassins.
The president and his family have expressed their frustrations about the investigations into his attempted assassinations. Speaking to the New York Post, President Trump says, "I'm entitled to know. I want to find out about the two assassins. Why did the one guy have 6 cell phones and why did the other guy have foreign apps? No more holding back because of Biden. I'm entitled to know. And they held it back long enough. No excuses." In November, the Secret Service published a report of the investigation into the Butler, Pennsylvania shooting in July. The internal review blamed lapses in communication and a lack of diligence by some agents.
And that's Fox's Madeline Rivera in D.C. Former Secret Service Acting Director Ronald Rowe saying in the past that the agency is, quote, reorganizing and reimaging, unquote, its culture and how it operates. Mr. Trump appointing Sean Curran, who led his personal detail, as the director of the Secret Service. Snow blanketing the Northeast on Saturday night. Fox Weather's Rick Reichmuth.
A lot of areas, 4, 5, 6 inches of snow and a little bit of a warmer snow. So it's melting out here pretty quickly across parts of the north. You see colder, 33 degrees in New York City. That's melting the snow kind of already. And we're going to see that happen throughout much of the day today. Now we have another storm. We're in a really active pattern here. I think our biggest chances are going to remain across parts of New England. That said, we will see some snow across parts of the coastal areas along the I-95 corridor as well. Same goes up across parts of, say, much of the Great Lakes, really. Today's high temperatures cool again across parts of the north. Not that bad, though.
And forecast models suggest a whopping 4 more winter storms are likely to sweep across the U.S. through the week into next weekend. The 10 victims of a deadly Alaska plane crash have all been identified. The commuter plane was carrying 9 passengers and a pilot when it went missing on Thursday. The NTSB saying the cause is still unknown. America's listening to Fox News.
Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
I'm Ben Domenech, Fox News contributor and editor of the Transom.com daily newsletter, and I'm inviting you to join a conversation every week with the smartest thinkers out there about the issues Americans face and where we're going as a nation. This show will feature deep dive interviews with newsmakers and some of your favorite Fox News analysts. I hope you'll join me as we dive into the fray. It's the Ben Domenech Podcast.
Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download podcasts.
Get your daily dose of news with a Fox News Rundown. A contrast of perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. Going far beyond the headlines. Tomorrow morning at 5 on 101.5 FM KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Hey, about Las Vegas. What's going on? It's hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, streaming on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, and we're also live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. So if you want to find us at Mark Hoke Show or the Mark Hoke Show, get in the chat box, say hi to us. We would certainly appreciate it. We have the president of wrestling. No impeachment hearings here for Phil Stamper from the Wrestling Revolver. Good to have Phil here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, Austin, Texas. Stu, always happy to have you along for the ride as well, my friend.
Appreciate it.
You got it. By the way, before I forget, I got to say hi to Sherry down at the 7-Eleven on the corner of Rainbow and Madura. I promised I'd mention her on the show. She takes very good care of me and my daughter when we go into the 7-Eleven. So, hi, Sherry. How you doing? All right. Now I got that out of the way. WrestleMania weekend is coming up. There's some interesting things happening in Las Vegas and some interesting things happening with the ticket sales as well. For those that don't know, of course, Super Bowl weekend, usually a huge weekend here in Las Vegas. Guys, I sent you the snapshots.
Yeah.
The hotel prices bottomed out. Now there's resort fees and stuff, but some of these strip hotels are charging $20 for a room. It's crazy. The revenues are down about 40 to 45% this weekend. I mean, it's bad. And now we start looking ahead to WrestleMania weekend. I haven't seen any hotel prices cratering, but I took a look on our good friend at WrestleTix, who keeps track of a lot of these things, and they are not. I mean, there's a lot of tickets sold, but there's still about 6,000 or 7,000 tickets left for both days at WrestleMania this weekend, or for in April. And I'm just wondering, I want to get an outside perspective from you guys before I put my 2 cents worth in. Why do you think the WrestleMania is not sold out? And is Vegas doing something wrong that people are kind of balking a little bit of coming here right now? Stu, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I guess you need to. I mean, I would assume you have to factor in the fact it's Easter weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder if that will affect some people's plans. I will say this. So just out of curiosity, I looked up, flights from Austin to Las Vegas. The flights haven't bombed out. I think I got to pay around $450 to $500 for a flight that would be coming in that Thursday and leave that Monday. I think I'm looking at about $500, which, I mean, it doesn't cost me much more to fly to Aruba.
Wow, that's interesting. Phil, do you have any thoughts on what's going on here?
I'm kind of right there, and it was funny right before you mentioned flight costs. I'm like, let me look it up and see. And to come out from like the East Coast, I'm a little bit lower. I'm at like 363, 382 for some of the non-pay for your luggage flights.
Which means it's going to end up around 500 plus.
Right. Well, no, it's a little cheaper with those flights.
Okay, gotcha.
But so like that's moderate. I mean, I tried to fly out to Vegas. What was it, about a year and a half ago for events that were happening over Memorial Day weekend, and was like, wow, it's $700. I'm not gonna be able to do that. And so this seems a little bit more reasonable, something I could manage if I'm planning now. And that's some of it. Some people just aren't good at planning ahead for that kind of stuff, especially if they're local. And I mean, there's a huge audience in California, in Las Vegas, that aren't planning flight. They're going to make a drive versus what we're trying to do from the East Coast. And so I think on the city side, I don't know if there's anything Vegas could do other than, as part of some of their tourism messages, and join us for WrestleMania and just slide that in here and there. I think the cost of attending WrestleMania is high. But I think because ticket costs in general are very high typically. And so I think there might be a little offset there that could happen. But again, this is the Super Bowl of wrestling. So therefore, like, it is going to stay probably at that higher price point.
Now, Allegiant tends to charge pretty high prices. I think they're the highest price ticket in the NFL. And right now, when I was on Ticketmaster, there are a few, maybe 100 and some seats available at $300, which is the lowest price. And once you start swinging around the stadium a little bit, for ones that aren't behind where everybody's going to be coming out, $450, $600, $700, and that's in the upper deck. And then you start getting down to the bowl, and other than seats that are a little more obstructed, $600, $650, $1,200 to be in that bowl. When I went to SummerSlam there in 2021, in that bottom deck, I paid $112. This is 10 times that. 10 times. Floor seats, $3,300 to $5,000. I mean, and it's a 2-day event too. So if you want to go to both days, double it. Like that's a lot, guys. That's a lot for a wrestling fan to want to spend, and especially if you want to bring a family, And
some of the premium seating, I believe, is not available for single day ticket. Like, you have to buy like the whole weekend of stuff, I think.
Yeah.
At least that used to be part of it. And I looked it up, and Las Vegas is the 7th highest NFL ticket.
Okay.
The leader is the Dallas Cowboys.
Ah, what a shock.
Jerry's got to get paid. I
Take-
care.
Right.
Yeah, but the other issue I think that we're having too, that a lot of people that live here and people, because I do rideshare too, so I hear a lot of this stuff, that the prices for everything on the Strip are just ridiculous too.
Yeah.
You're talking $12 for a bottle of water, $20 for a beer at some of these places, and it's crazy what they're doing. Then we have transportation issues too with highways, and the Formula One is 4 months of a wreck. I mean, it's staying Las Vegas right now, and I hate to say it, but I just wonder if WWE may have outpriced themselves on this one this time.
By the way, that snapshot you sent, I don't know where he got it. I'm looking up on Hera's website right now for that Thursday through Monday. Cheapest I see is $172 a night.
Yeah, that's for WrestleMania. The shot I sent you is for Super Bowl weekend. What's going on right now? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Super Bowl was last year in Las Vegas, not this year. It's in New Orleans this year.
Yeah, but but traditionally it's still a big time for people to come to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just absolutely bottomed out. So yeah, there's just some weird stuff going on. I just think everybody's getting a little crazy because we know WWE has been putting their prices up just a little bit for everything. I heard some pretty heavy numbers for Royal Rumble that they were charging. I just worry that they're going to start pricing fans out, but I don't know. It's go ahead, Phil. I see this. It's something rolling around your head.
It's a bit of a mix because like Cody did a meet and greet with fans before the Royal Rumble, and he did it like an all day long thing, and he didn't charge what I would think would be an exorbitant cost. And I can't remember offhand. I want to say it was like maybe $200, $250, and it was like a promised spending of like 25 minutes with each ticket, and it was like that's a lot of time for a decent amount of money. And then when it's like, well, if you think about it all day long, put that together, he's made a nice amount of money, but not as much as maybe some other people could have charged. And so and people felt like that was Cody driving that down to be more affordable to attend. And certainly when you go to any of the conventions that are nearby, I mean, at Royal Rumble, the building that we had that WrestleCon was in was literally attached to the building that SmackDown was in. It right across the street. And I got parking literally on the street in front of the convention center, and the convention center was packed. So there's enough people who are willing to pay a high price, but it's like what comes with it if you do get that. And then for everybody else, like me, who would want to make it affordable in order to travel, like, okay, it has to be a little bit more reasonable. And sitting up in the upper tier for $300, where I'm probably going to not be able to see a thing and be blocked by a pillar, is probably not where I want to be watching wrestling.
Well, I will say this: at Allegiant Stadium, there's not a lot of stuff that really obstructs everybody at Allegiant. It's a very well built stadium, but this is also for the WWE World events over at the convention center, which, by the way, you can't park in front of the Las Vegas Convention Center. You're lucky to be able to drive in anywhere near there right now, to be honest with you. VIP ticket is $900, 5-day general admission $300 for adults, $120 for kids. Single day is $55 and $25. That's not bad, I guess.
I don't know, but it's kind of like what I was talking about with the NFL charging for Super Bowl opening night. Now it's a $20 ticket, but the fact that you can get 10,000-15,000 people to pay a ticket to go sit in the Superdome to watch a bunch of guys like me trying to get interviews with, either guys that play for the Chiefs or the Eagles. Charging that much for that WWE World for something that at one time, not that long ago, was free.
Yeah.
That seems, you have to buy the ticket just to be able to go into the Superstore.
Mm-hmm.
So you're charging people your ticket price to be able to go buy stuff.
I get it.
Tell me how that makes sense.
I get when it's untempered chaos, because certainly if you have the amount of volume of everybody who was going to go to the Royal Rumble go through the store, I get where, hey, that could be great. Like you have more people buying stuff because they're able to go through. But then it's just such a massive people too. So I see like setting a low cost to be able to go into something like that. So you do have a little bit more safety control. I'm in my other life, I'm dealing with that with a large event that the place I work at puts on every year. And that's only like 10,000 people. And we have a limited number of tickets we give out. And it's a completely free event. And people hoard tickets. And then you have people waiting to get in until we know we can clear for more seats because people haven't used all their tickets. And so we're like, do we start charging $5 a ticket? And that was like an uproar statement. Like, oh my gosh, you can't do that. These families won't know what to do, and like these students don't have any money. And like I understand that. I'm agreeing. I just say, like, they're hoarding. There needs to be an anti-hoarding. $2, like just something that's like a little bit of like a deterrent, not deterrent, but a little bit of traffic control.
Yeah, just 3 years ago. So when WrestleMania was up in Arlington, was up in the Metroplex, I think they charged $10 to get into. It was still access at the time. Mm-hmm. It was at the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center in Dallas. I think they were charging $10. I mean, that I can see. All right, I get that, but charging hundreds of dollars to go look at stuff and then go to buy stuff. Yeah.
And hope a couple of guys are hanging around. Yeah.
Well, but even then, so then you gotta pay for, the meet and greet. So now you're adding on to that, couple $100 that you spend on a ticket. Again, when is enough? When is enough?
Yeah. So you start piling this up, and you're talking thousands for maybe let's say you decide to take those $300 seats. Well, that's $1,200 plus if you go for both days, that's $2,400. Then you're going to go over to WWE World, and let's say you get the 5-day passes for that. Well, there's another $1,200. Not to mention food, transportation, hotel costs, souvenirs. Man, that's a lot for a family. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think they've just decided they're going corporate, and let's see what happens, man. I mean, it's a lot,
Which has been the criticism in the NFL for years and years, where you can't go to a game without having spent a fortune. They've priced fans out of, not to mention watching a game at home has become more more preferable, shall we say, with all the camera angles and such. It's like, hey, I stay home and watch the 2 days of WrestleMania here for the however much I pay for Peacock.
Yeah, and then you start adding on in Las Vegas with all the exorbitant prices that are down the strip. And it's funny that I have to explain to people, there's stuff outside of here. You can get out of the strip and get out of Fremont Street, and there's a normal city out there with normal prices. So you can kind of save yourself some money, by eating elsewhere. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a mess. It is absolutely a mess. I'm curious to see what's going to happen next year when things, if things drop down a little bit and back to a more reasonable price. But because I'm sure they're not happy right now with having that many tickets left. And I think WrestleTix said their last check, they'd only sold a few hundred tickets from the week before. So I don't know. I mean, it's nothing I don't think it's anything against Vegas per se. I think it's just, man, everything's just costing too much. So,
well, and there is something to be said for waiting to see what the main events are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a main event yet for either night. We don't know who's going to go for what title. Now, yes, we're 1 week removed from the Royal Rumble, so it might take a little bit, but right now there's no real incentive to buy tickets right now.
And yes, the Royal Rumble is really like the big kickoff event to get us ready for Mania. And I was going to say the same thing, like we're only a week out. But Mania is also not just the culmination of WWE storylines for the year. And in some ways, it's part of a continuation. It's also a highlight spectacle where you get other folks from other forms of entertainment involved in Mania too, because they want some of that extra drawing power as well. So I think we're going to start to hear other celebrities that are going to start being involved now, like we do every year. Snoop Dogg last year. There's people who are going to be announced along the way that I think will get more and more people to buy in and be interested.
And I think too, last year they sold out the tickets in Philadelphia very quickly, but we all knew it was coming in Philly.
Yeah.
We knew it was Cody and Roman.
Everybody wanted to see Cody finish the story.
Right. And The Rock's hanging around. So
I also wonder about the whole celebrity thing because, and look, I get they're trying to skew younger, but like they were showing celebrities at the Royal Rumble. I think I knew one name. Now, I'm 56 years old. I don't watch YouTube that much. I don't watch, so a lot of these folks, I have no clue who they are. Nothing. I get they're trying to skew younger, but I'm wondering how much that celebrity factor will play into it because I don't know, they're not celebrities to me.
Fair enough. Yeah, this will be. It's going to be interesting to watch how everything goes over the next few weeks. Because if there's 6,000 seats left, I'm going to tell you this from talking to everybody that's involved in media. I don't want to hear that I can't get a seat in the stadium. I'm just going to say that right now. We'll just leave it at that. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, I want to give Phil a little shot at talking about what's going to be going on in Las Vegas. That calendar's ridiculous, Phil.
It's a lot. And
it's insane.
Added on to.
And we'll talk a little bit about Tony Storm and Ricochet's performances this week and Grand Slam coming up. Stick around, everybody. More on the Mark Hoke Show. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick. We'll be right back.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115. Or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam & Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way. Because you deserve a team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam & Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam & Ash, because you deserve what's right.
When it comes to protecting my family's future, I want a life insurance company that's at the top of their game. That's why I got same-day coverage through Ethos. There was no paperwork, no waiting around, and no medical exam. I just answered a few health questions online, and Ethos set me up with a $3 million policy for about $2 a day. Go to checkethos.com and get it done today. That's CHECKETHOS.com. Checkethos.com. Sample rates is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Right now at Wendy's, get 2 of these fave items for just $7. The spicier classic chicken sandwich, Dave's single, or 10-piece nugs. It's an incredible deal, but an insanely difficult choice. Do you go double chicky sando, both spicy and classic, 1 beefy and 1 chicky? Or maybe you go all in on one and go Nug Max. 2 faves for just $7? Gotta be Wendy's.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time only. Select a request 2 for $7 deal to redeem. Not valid in a combo or with saucy nugs. Single item at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2, have a plan to get there. Step 3, make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all 3 with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, our EV trucking company is officially in operation.
Andrew's zero-emission trucks are driving the transportation category forward.
We'll make driving safer, easier, and less stressful.
Now our technology needs to keep up with demand.
He needs to put pedal to the metal on hiring more software engineers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
1015 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And we are back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. I am joined by Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, Phil Stamper from the Wrestling Revolver, and just being a all-around mediocre president of wrestling.
How dare you?
I didn't say you were bad.
Mediocre.
No, he's pretty awesome.
Man.
I just love getting a rise out of Phil. He scared me this morning. If you're on the live stream, Phil, I turn around and I can see when the guys show up, and Phil's got the dark glasses on and the president of wrestling seal behind him. I look up like, oh my God, am I getting watched by Doge or what's going on here, man? It's scary. But Phil, a ton of events that are going to be here in Las Vegas for WrestleMania weekend. And of course, that calendar is not anywhere near done. I'm sure there's going to be more and more stuff hitting us. But what are some of the highlights on the calendar that you see so far that maybe people are only going to get a chance to see them maybe once? Who knows?
So right now I'm at 55 events that I know of so far. And you are right. There's going to be more that's going to be added. I will say, because this morning Mark asked me like, hey, can we share it? And I was like, sure. And then I realized, I haven't looked at another update this week. So I was quickly trying to add stuff, and things are happening so fast that even some of the announcements aren't placed on some of the websites for some of these companies yet. So like Future Stars of Wrestling, which is housed and located traditionally out of Las Vegas. They are a Vegas company. They are hosting a number of promotions at their venue. But not all of them have been announced on their page, but the individual companies have announced stuff saying they're going to be there. So I am trying to clear that up just a little bit because of some of that. So you are right. You're going to see more and more and more stuff. And a lot of them have come together, like at the FSW situation, where promotions are coming together with one venue, the Collective, Shooting Star Fest. There's a lot of that's coming together. So that way they are compacting all of their events in one place. It is starting to get a little bit heavy. Like I said, there are 55 events so far. And Shooting Star Fest is one of those that has multiple companies, and only a couple of those companies have announced their specific event and their time. So more is going to come, and this is only the events. That's not to include the fan fests and meet and greets that are happening all over the city. This is not including all the WWE stuff that's happening. So there's a lot that's going to be happening during Mania week.
Yeah. I can tell you from the Lone Star State, Texas Wrestling Cartel, their promotion out of Corpus Christi, great promotion. They're going to be part of the FSW. They're calling it Full Tilt 3. And they actually, Texas Wrestling Cartel is supposed to be Friday, April 18th at 1:30 p.m. I assume the Pacific. And then the Shooting Star Fest, New Texas Pro Wrestling, which is a promotion that I've worked with. We collaborated with them with Inspire and New Texas Pro. They have a show in a couple weeks here in Austin. Kiefer Bartek, fantastic promoter, but New Texas Pro Wrestling is going to be part of that Shooting Star Fest.
And one of the things that is exciting is the number of Japanese companies that are coming in.
Yeah, I see that.
Dragon Gate USA is making its return on Wednesday the 16th. So, there's let's see, Stardom, Spark Joshi, Tokyo Joshi, DDT Pro are all coming in. So that is exciting to see all that come together. And already on the West Coast has a lot of great promotions. West Coast Pro, Prestige, who've really been turning some heads. They're out there. Deadlock Pro is joining forces with them at Meet Las Vegas to put on some different events. And so I'm kind of excited to see what else is going to be announced.
And don't forget, there's going to be an Effie's big gay brunch too, Saturday morning. So don't forget that. That's always a wild time. But yeah, it's a pretty eclectic group of pro wrestling companies that are going to be here. And Phil, where can anybody find that list? Are you going to repost it soon, or
I'm gonna repost it soon. I've been trying to make a graphic with it, and because I hadn't been tracking this week, I didn't add the new things that have been announced. So that by Wednesday of this week, I'll have something out on my social media at Trust and Phil.
But yeah, so we're looking at stuff starting on Wednesday. You know, Big Valley Wrestling, that's Ricky Tenacious's promotion, so he'll be doing his thing, and you know, a lot of Dragon's Gate event is on Wednesday, and you start going down just all sorts of stuff. Banger Zone, Defy, Demand Lucha, and Destiny Wrestling. That should be a lot of fun.
Speaking of Defy, did you see who is their new world champion?
I didn't. I forgot. That's terrible, Stu.
He is a New Orleans native. However, I will call him Austin's own Ricky Starks.
Nice.
Ooh. I had seen the dust up that happened between Ricochet and Swerve that just happened at Defy. I did not know Ricky was their champion. Okay.
Yeah, I just saw. I was flipping through, and I saw the post, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Ricky doing some stuff up in the Pacific Northwest.
Well, he should just be wrestling everywhere he can. I feel bad for that guy.
I agree. It's I've known Ricky for close to a decade now, and yeah, it stinks that he's not on television, whether it's AEW or wherever. In fact, he will show up at some of the independent events here in Austin just to hang out. And you can see in his face he wants to be in that ring.
Yeah. So hopefully he'll find his way out of purgatory soon. By the way, Scoop in the chat box says, if you need a photographer while you're here, I know a guy. Yeah, there's a guy for you.
There you go.
Damn good. Check him out. Now, shifting gears a little bit, you brought up an AEW guy, and AEW, a pretty good week. I got to tell you, they are starting to get things back in gear a little bit. Getting the attention of Swerve Strickland and Ricochet. Ricochet gets a clean win on him this week. And, I'm sure that's nowhere near over. And what Tony Storm did to Mariah May this week with the total mocking of her in the ring, fantastic. Harley Cameron and her little puppet making fun of Mercedes Moné. See, you guys are giggling about that. That puppet is maybe more over than Mercedes. I hate to say that. That sounds mean, but
no, I think you're right. That's probably one of my favorite spots on AEW this past week is Puppet Mercedes with Harley Cameron. That made me laugh, and anything that makes me laugh, I will give a big thumbs up to.
Yeah, because I think you and I are both callous, so it's a little bit, so it's hard to get us. But that got me too. That did. That was pretty cool stuff. So what do you guys think of direction AEW right now? Do you feel like they're kind of starting to get the train moving forward again?
Stu was going. Go, Stu.
No, it's starting to. Now there's still some stuff, and there's a lot of talk about this Grand Slam show in Australia that seems like it's going to end up being less than what it was originally intended for. I'm not even crazy about why do you call it Grand Slam? The whole point of doing the Grand Slam event was because you were in Arthur Ashe Stadium where they play the U.S. Open. Why are you calling the Australia event Grand Slam? It just, there's a disconnect there. By the way, before they hit Australia, they come here. On Tuesday night, they will be at the HEB Center at Cedar Park, the home of the Texas Stars and the Austin Spurs. And they've already got the Hurt Syndicate defending the tag titles against the Guns. Oh, my God. The Trios titles, they've been seen.
They're here.
They still exist. So Claudio Pack and Wheeler are going to defend them against Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong, which, oh, by the way, they call themselves the Undisputed Kingdom. Where's the Kingdom?
Yeah, the Kingdom kind of went poof. They're gone.
It's like, why are you still using the Kingdom thing when you don't have the Kingdom? I mean, or maybe they do. Maybe they're just relegated to Ring of Honor. I don't know. But MJF and Dustin Rhodes, which, I'm a little biased on that one. And then Max Caster's Best Wrestler Alive Open Challenge. Something tells me Hangman might answer that one. So there is a decent show on tap in well, I guess about 48 hours, a little more than 48 hours from now, here in, well, it's in Cedar Park, which is a suburb of Austin. But I kind of like it seems a little more interesting. I got a feeling maybe once they get past this Australia event, maybe we'll see a little more building, towards, I guess it'd be Revolution.
We got Revolution in LA on the 9th. So we're only a month away from that. Phil?
There is something, and when I say this, I can't even verbalize it quite correctly. There is something about the polish of their actual production. I go somewhere between it's overly refined plus too little crowd noise or something. I feel like either they need a little more dirt in the wheel or they actually need a lot more polish, and I'm just not seeing it. It feels like I'm visibly watching WCW from the late 90s, because there's something about some of the segments feel like so super clean and almost generic. I feel like they are going in the right direction overall, but there's something about like the way it's actually the product on film is being produced that makes me like this feels a little too something clean or not dirty enough, or just I'm not even sure how to verbalize it, but there's just something that doesn't feel right. Like this, I'll be honest, the segment with Mercedes and is it Harley or Haley? Oh my gosh, my brain died.
Harley.
Thank you. With Harley and Mercedes, I watched it. I started to get into it, and then I was like, I got so lost by like, why do I feel like I'm out of it too? Like I feel like I'm watching this through a tunnel.
That one,
I think it's just to your point, it's a little bit dark. You know what I mean? I don't know, and I don't know quite how to describe it too much either, but it does feel like there's something that they need to do to pep it up, and I can't put a finger on if it's lighting or what.
And I still do feel like they've done great things to try to like let's direct the product a little better, and and not only at AEW but at Ring of Honor. But then you've also gotten folks who've fallen through the cracks, and it sounds like the indication of like Malachi Black not being very happy with some things and how he was treated, and now the remainder of the House of Black that are not going to be called the House of Black anymore, like where they're going and how are they going to be spotlit. Blake Christian has blown up this week. Like all of a sudden I'm seeing all of his clips and I hadn't heard a peep from him in months, it felt like. And so like I'm happy for Blake now. It looks like he's rising a little bit up in the Ring of Honor ranks. But where's the everybody else? And again, it goes to that they have such a great depth of talent, but because they have such great depth, I think some people get a little lost by the wayside.
You're shaking your head.
No, I get that, and I tend to agree with you. It's like I said, it's starting. They're trying to start the upward trend. They still have a ways to go. Like I'll mention, so MJF Dustin Rhodes. So why are you going to have Dustin lose in his hometown? And I hate to say that, and I like Max, but this, usually when Tony books someone in their town, usually means they're going to get a win. I love Dustin to death. I work with him all the time. He's not winning against Max. And it's like, why are you going to have him, unless it's going to be some sort of a dirty, I don't know, something, which
some schmoz.
Yes. Well, I'd say it'd probably be, more
maybe Jeff Jarrett comes in and clocks him.
Well,
that's possible.
Something.
Dustin is also from an older generation of wrestling. This is not a slide on Dustin. Please, nobody take that way. But there is an older school mentality of like, I'm gonna put up talent. I'm gonna give this rub over here. I think he might be coming at it from that perspective.
And that's Dustin. That's that's totally his mindset. You're absolutely right. So in that sense, it makes sense. He mentioned, it was funny. He mentioned to me a couple weeks ago about they were talking about putting him in a program with Max, and I said, okay, that could be interesting. He's cut some fantastic promos, which it's Dustin. I don't expect less. But it's just going to be weird. And I got a feeling maybe they do some sort of like, it'll be a dirty win or something like that. And, they'll get the crowd sympathetic for Dustin. So, I'll be interested to see. I'm always interested, in AEW or WWE. I'm always interested in seeing what independent talent. So like the Collision show last night in Houston, one of the in the trios match, Brick Savage, who I know well. He lives here in Austin. Love Brick to death. And he's one of the baddest dudes in Texas wrestling right now. He's one half of our tag champs in Inspire. So I was happy to see that. I do want to see who they bring in for the Cedar Park show. So that'll be a fun deal to see.
And Dustin faced Izzy James last night.
Yes, love Izzy. I've known Izzy forever and a day. He and his wife are lovely people. I've called so many of Izzy's matches. Like, it's so funny. So he used to be known as Unholy Gregory James, and so I'm still, even after all this time, the Izzy thing doesn't gel yet.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was so glad to see Izzy get some airtime last night on Collision.
Yeah, and we'll get some of our guys in Collision that's going to be here on March 15th, by the way, so make sure you get your tickets for that. That'll be the Collision following AEW Revolution, so that should be a pretty good time here in Las Vegas, and it's going to be at the Virgin Hotel and Casino, which is a pretty entertaining place. I think people are going to enjoy getting in there. It used to be, for those of you who haven't been here for a while, that used to be the Hard Rock, and it is now, and it's been Virgin for a couple of years now. So, but check it out. Get ready for that Collision too. Yeah. And we got to get a break in here, guys, or I'm going to get in trouble. So let's get that rolling, and we'll take a fast look at AEW Grand Slam and a couple other things going on in the world of pro wrestling. Oh, having a great time. Stu Myrick, Phil Stamper, and I'm Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us on the Mark Hoke Show. We do appreciate it. And we will be right back for you to wrap up the show. Stick around.
Selling your house is always stressful, especially in this economy.
You need a real estate agent you can trust to make the process as stress-free as possible.
And one that can get you the most money for your home. Talk to the Brinkus team of Keller Williams Realty, The Marketplace.
They've sold over 9,000 homes in the Las Vegas area
and have helped thousands of families reach their real estate goals. The Brinkus team's marketing is so thorough that when they list homes, they sell for top dollar.
They'll customize their strategy just for your specific needs,
including selling and buying a home simultaneously.
Yeah, I just went through that process a few years ago. It is not fun. You need somebody who knows what they're doing. And they do the heavy lifting so you can rest easy. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only works with the best agents in the whole country.
And guess who's the only team she trusts in all of Southern Nevada? That's right, the Brinkus team. So just Google thebrinkusteam.com today and check out their hundreds of 5-star reviews.
That's thebrinkusteam.com.
And start packing.
The nights are cold, and your doggone furnace isn't keeping you warm. Time to call Fetch-A-Tech Heating and Plumbing. We're Las Vegas' best friend when it comes to furnace and plumbing repairs. We have appointments available right now. Call us for 10% off any repair. Furnace, hot water heater, plumbing, and more. Call to schedule at 702-509-2000 or Google Fetch-A-Tech, and we can give your furnace a new leash on life with a $49 tune-up, and we'll waive the fee with an approved repair. Call to schedule at 702-509-2000 or Google Fetch-A-Tech. We're doggone fast and we're doggone good. Our friendly expert techs will fix the problem right the first time. Remember, our special offer is 10% off any repair. Furnace, hot water heater, plumbing, and more. And just $49 for a furnace tune-up. That can be waived with an approved repair. Give us a call. We'll come running. Our number is 702-509-2000 or just Google Fetch-A-Tech. That's 702-509-2000 or Google Fetch-A-Tech.
Power. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. baseball bobbleheads, race car bobbleheads, little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped up at Able Electric.
We need 3 more at First in Maine, and we just got another hotel chain.
It's no shock. Able Electric needs able electricians.
Grocery store wants charging stations too.
And fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
And we are back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM. Talk of Las Vegas. Wrapping it up here with Phil Stamper and Stu Myrick. Always love having these guys around. They're my best pals. Thank you.
We're the best friends.
We're the 3 best friends that I ever had.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we do have AEW Grand Slam coming up this weekend. We talked about that a little bit. We didn't get into the matches. Here's the rundown of the card. Mariah May is being challenged by Timeless Tony Storm. Luther's back with her, so good for Luther. Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega are taking on the Don Callis family, which is Kyle Fletcher and Kensuke Takeshita. Okada is defending the Continental Championship against Buddy Matthews. We got Jay White and Cope against the Death Riders, and that will be Moxley and Castagnoli. And Mercedes Moné defending her TBS Championship against Harley Cameron. Phil, what stands out to you on that card?
That the fact they're going to showcase international talent on an international show, which has been a criticism in the past of like they go to Wembley Stadium and some people were dropped off that felt like, well, people are from England, like why aren't you? So I like to see that mix. I feel like it gives a bigger flavor to it. Overall, that like my big picture is in a very positive light. I think this is reflective of their roster in a very good way.
Stu, what do you think of this card?
It's a good card. It's, like Phil said, a lot of international flavor on this card. I like that we're seeing some title matches, so it feels a little bit more, a little bit bigger than just your regular Collision on a Saturday night. Mm-hmm. I'm very interested to see if they decide to go with a title change in Australia. You would think Tony's going to win the world title because it seems like they've been setting that up forever and a day. But yeah, I'll be interested to see if there is, more than one title change happening in Brisbane.
Especially with Harley Cameron. She is so over right now. It's ridiculous. Do you slay the golden goose for a little while with Mercedes? I don't know, man. That's a tough call. And it kind of goes back to my whole thing of I'm not feeling it with Mercedes. I don't know why they've tried to make her Mercedes 4 belts when it's kind of like, who cares? Phil?
If she had sold it harder in sort of a different way of like, I'm proving the point. Look at me. I am the best in that respect because and I don't feel like they're not diving that deep on it. They definitely did not present it ever from like a babyface standpoint, but I don't know. I very much agree. I don't think she's really delivering, in that way. Maybe there are eyes on the product who are interested because it is her. And are watching because of her, and okay, great. I'm not seeing it show up in the ring.
She may be in the same boat as Charlotte when you think about it, that there's just not they've got to dial something up a little bit more with her, to get her where she needs to be. I mean, I know she's walking around with this bad attitude, but I think she maybe needs to do some worse things if you're going to and lean into it, like you guys said with Charlotte. So, by the way, in the chat box, Matthew Rodriguez said, crazy idea. The final match of Mariah versus Tony is an I Quit match, but not at Revolution, in a Dynamite where this all started, Scotiabank Saddle Dome. What do you think? What do you think? Stu, what do you think? I think you got to do it at Revolution if you're going to.
Yeah. I wouldn't decide it on a Dynamite.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, and why are we waiting to Revolution? I thought the match was this Saturday.
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be another one. I doubt they're done after this. This might be their hottest feud they've got. Keep it rolling. So
I love the fact that they are giving it a big match feel, right? Like I like that they're showcasing it in this way, even though it's going to be on the time slot of Collision. You're going to see it on TNT. You can also simulcast it on the Max app.
And it's delayed because it's going to be after NBA All-Star Saturday night.
Yeah. So,
which again, why can't they show it live on Max?
That's a good question. That is a good question. I wish they would.
Why not take advantage of this whole simulcast thing? If people want to see it live on Max, show it on Max.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. A couple of little news and notes I want to get to before we get out of here, guys. Kevin Owens apparently he's re-signed a 5-year deal, so KO is not going anywhere. He was talking about. I saw the tweet
about his daughter Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah,
which and my thing, because again, I am a lifelong Boy Scout. I will buy Girl Scout cookies if the person who's selling them to me will buy Boy Scout popcorn. So there you go.
That's fair. Elias Phil has signed with AEW, and I saw that promo they did with Vinny and the boys there. Mm-hmm. What do you think of that little group?
Oh, let's go. And if hey, you're trying to revitalize your trios division, new trios team.
Yeah, I'm happy for Elias. I hope he does well. I have a feeling I bet he's going to get a decent pop when he shows up on AEW TV. I think that's going to work out all right. We had this really bad story that Bear Boulder of the Iron Savages got arrested for in mid-January for battery, and this was terrible. Apparently was rendered his wife unconscious by standing on the back of her neck. Oh man, and poor Bear and poor Bear Bronson was getting caught in the middle of this too, because people, of course, are mixing them up, and not a good scene there, Stu. But
no, and good on Tony. I mean, and that's been his thing. If you get mixed up in some sort of criminal allegations, it's usually meant you're done in the company. I mean, there's been a couple of exceptions, but it's good on Tony to take a stand.
No doubt. And Phil, we all, and guys, actually both of you, we can't forget, we've got NXT Vengeance Day coming up this weekend too.
Yeah.
And this is a fun main event. Obafemi, Austin Theory, Grayson Waller for the NXT title. That should be a fun one. And then we got Fallon Henley and Stephanie McCoy for the North American title, and Julia Bailey and Roxanne Perez for the women's championship. That's 3 good matches there, fellas. I like that card, Phil.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, it's 3 matches they've announced for a card this coming Saturday. And so I'm like, it should be a little bit more. Plus, have they, I'll be honest, I haven't been watching NXT, but I watch via clips on X. Have they paid off like the whole like weird color screen of like Vengeance popping up? Like, I'm guessing it's leading to something at Vengeance Day. Do we know what that is yet?
We do not know.
No. And I've seen a little bit of a criticism of how NXT has lost a little luster.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as must see as it was, say, even 6 months ago. So
I really thought with the NXT TNA friendship, I don't want to call merger, just friendship, you might start seeing a little more collab to make it a little bit more interesting. I don't think it should be all at once, but I like, the ones they've done so far have been good. Here's one person, here's maybe somebody in the crowd. So I hope we get to see more of that to revitalize.
Yep. So a lot of great wrestling coming up this weekend and over the next few weeks, and the road to WrestleMania continues right here in Las Vegas. It's going to be a great time. Stu, thank you very much. And of course, I want to tell everybody to follow you at Stu Myrick, STEWMYRCK. Check out Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, also available on the Odyssey app. And Phil Stamper, you can find him at Trust in Phil. He is the Indies expert, no question about it. Make sure you check out his account and see everything going on around the pro wrestling world. Guys, that's going to do it. Have a terrific day, Las Vegas. Go Eagles, fly, baby. Chiefs suckeroni. See you later. Have a great day, Las Vegas. We'll see you next week. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.